Hi Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your February 16th, 2022 full moon reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space. Actually, before we clear the energy space, I want to thank each and every one of you for your healing wishes, your healing energy. Once again, thank you so much. I'm on the road to recovery from this concussion, and you guys have just been amazing. So now let's heal the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. So let's see what the tarot has to say. How will Capricorn be affected by the February 16th, 2022 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Oh, goodness. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. So at the front here is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The back is our emotional self. The right-hand side is the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We start off with the Tower, and then we have the Wheel of Fortune. I really like those two coming together. So the Tower with the Wheel of Fortune is we've been through a change. Now, this change might have happened 16 years ago. This change might have happened 16 months ago. It doesn't really matter. It has shaken the foundation of our lives and of ourselves. And it has us looking at things quite different. And now our angels are coming through, and they're denouting the mess that we feel that we're in, that we have been in, the emotional mess, the personal mess, everything that is going on. And there's a sense of clear-sightedness. There's a sense of, determination and focus. We're entering into a new season. We're entering into a new time that is very profound for us. It leads us to our emotional self. And then we have the Death card, which is Scorpio energy, and the Ace of Wands, fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. God, source, spirit, however you see the divine, the universe, is handing us a gift just for us. And again, it is about this transformation. It is about this becoming. It moves us to our emotional self, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the Chariot. Now, the Chariot represents Cancer energy. Our sister sign is Cancer. So just like a sister, it can be the best, most loving, most beautiful energy ever, right? The person that we love to be with and hang out with because they get us so well. And it can also be the person who knows how to push all our buttons in just the right way to totally frustrate us, to totally aggravate us. So be aware of this during this time. Our world is changing. Once again, a new season is what we're entering into. The Chariot is the moving forward of emotions, but the balancing of the subconscious and the conscious, the seeing of ourselves and what we want and what we desire. Here, the Chariot is represented by Mamanon, the god of the sea. And what we're seeing here is him having the waves be be his guides, right? Be his horses, which always make me think of one of my favorite books and also one of my favorite movies when I was little, The Last Unicorn. This sense of, I thought there was only one of me, or I escaped from something so terrifying, so overwhelming. And then to see it coming back, to see those waters, that emotion coming back and trying to devour me again. That's going to be something that we're looking at here, Capricorn, with honesty and with, integrity of self. It leads us to our public arena self. And we have the moon and we have the Knight of Swords. The moon is Pisces energy. Pisces, comes through here represented, is ruled by Neptune. That energy comes forward very powerfully during this time. And also, this is the moon that we're talking about. So in the public arena, in the way that we react to things, the moon is very much stepping forward. We have the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords is the fairy tale knight, right? The white knight that comes in and slays the demons, slays the dragons, cuts through the poison of our world and ascends in beauty and majesty and understanding to awaken a part of themselves that needs to be awoken, to awaken their other half. And so there's going to be a feeling around this energy and around this time of like, oh, okay, am I opened to this energy? Am I open to becoming what I need to be? Am I looking at things correctly, or am I seeing things the way that I want? And as we're looking at it, it's kind of also at a sense of, am I looking at what I want? Am I looking at what is also good for me? Am I confusing the two at this time? And are my demands or my ego taking over? So that's going to be important because we'll talk about the ego more in just a moment. So let's look at the energy we need to be mindful of during this time. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Ooh, we have two. So we have the Princess of Cups and we have Cernunnos. Now Cernunnos in the Druid craft deck is the devil. So we have to be mindful of us getting in our own way during this time. An immaturity of emotions can be something that we're dealing with. It can be that we're taking certain things just a little bit too personally, or we're not really talking to the other person to work things out. So that's going to be something that we definitely need to be mindful of. We also need to be mindful of people, pressing our buttons, pressing, our emotional buttons, just because they want to, and just because they think, okay, I can get this out of you if I do XYZ, if I, have you react this way, because they know us, or they've been able to kind of size us up as they've known us. So just be aware of that. It doesn't have to be somebody we know well. It could be somebody that, we're working with or that we meet casually, and all of a sudden they've got our number pretty well. So just be mindful of that. And also during this moon, be mindful of getting in our own way, stepping in our own path, saying, oh no, that's not what success looks like. It's like, no, step back, see, success is different for every single person that lives on this planet. Let us embrace our road and ourselves. Our chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Flexibility, the sacral chakra. Now, the sacral chakra is important. It's where our sensual energy is held. It is where our creative energy is held, but it is also where we have a lot of the negativity from this life and from past lives held. So when we're looking at flexibility of mind, of spirit, of self, we're looking at ourselves being able to break chains, being able to look at harmful patterns or patterns that just aren't suiting us, aren't moving with us. And now we're saying, why? Why am I doing this? Or why am I repeating this, hoping for a different, outcome? And it can even be just soul-wise. It feels like I've been in this mess before, or it feels like, this is something I'm always going to be in, and yet it hasn't always been always. That can be a past life coming forward. That can be, cellular memory coming forward with those who have had trauma and drama in their past, in our line, in our family line. So let us look at this time astrologically. We have the full moon in Leo, and here it says, don't let pride get in your way. That's why the ego during this time is so important to acknowledge for each and every one of us, because the ego can play a great big role in the way that we want to progress forward. Oh, look at me, I can do this. Oh, look at me, I can do that. And what Spirit is saying here is like, no, let us look at what I need, how I need to show up for myself, what it is that I desire, what it is that I want, who it is that I am. And not in a sense of anybody else has to know, but I'm doing this for me. I'm connecting with me. I'm showing up for me. Now, the story of the full moon always begins the exact same way. It is with the moon opposite the sun. Leo is ruled by the sun. So for the moon to be in Leo, it's where its reflective energy is very, very comfortable. The full moon is always focused on our family, our home, our relationships. It brings that all into focus, as well as the opposite forces in our lives, our work and our home, our want and our needs, our joys and our sorrows. Everything that is an opposite, everything that we look at and be like, am I doing this right? Or how does this play out? Or, oh, I feel to be pulled in two different directions. And emotionally, we are going to feel that way during this time. We begin to recognize it. Now, during this time, we're looking and seeking balance. So this is even a time where balance, harmony, and chaos are starting to become very prominent within our lives, or we're starting to notice it more and more. We start to listen to our inner voice, and we start to listen to the way Spirit is guiding us. This is a very positive moon. It's a very smooth sailing moon. This is the first moon in 2022 that is not during a Mercury retrograde or a shadow period. And I know you're going to say, Dane, this is the second full moon of 2022. So, of course, let's not make a big deal out of this, but we have 4 Mercury retrogrades. We have 8 shadow periods. This is also a time where all the planets are direct. There's a calmness, there's a steadiness to this time that is really quite beautiful. Mars is conjunct Venus and Vespa in Capricorn. Now this brings us a go-getter mentality, an attitude of I can do this. Of course, Venus and Vespa are in Capricorn. We're feeling comfortable with our emotions. We're feeling comfortable with the way that we're moving forward, or at least with discovering new roads. Mars and Venus in mythology, right? In Roman mythology, they were lovers, just as, Aries and Aphrodite were lovers in the Greek mythology before the Romans. They just tweaked things a bit. So here we have this sense of my conscious world, or the war god, right? Mars coming forward, our subconscious world, or our heart, our emotional world coming forward, Venus, them intertwining during this time, bringing us to a place of action. Now this alignment is also in harmony with Uranus and with Neptune. This means that the energy is very centered around us being able to look at what we want, look at what we need, move forward for ourselves towards our dreams, towards our desires. Neptune, which we have right here, rules Pisces, right? Neptune rules the visual communication, as well as represents our dreams, our hopes, and what we've become. So this is a time where if we're thinking about like tattoos, or if we're thinking about, artwork or movies or anything like that, this is a time of ideas. This is a time where the Lord of the unseen world, which is what Neptune is also known as, is coming into our reality. We're starting to take the unseen world and putting it forward into our seen world. So be very aware of that. Now, Uranus, which rules Aquarius energy. So if we're born on the cusp with Aquarius, or we have strong Aquarius energy within our chart, that's coming through very powerfully right here. This is the innovator. This is the introvert. The innovator, the unpredictable, imaginative, creative. No, I do see it right now as a bit of an introverted energy that's coming forward to say, let me think outside of the box. Let me break down the barriers. This is creative and scientific genius that we are really looking at. Now we also have to know that during the full moon, the full moon activates the lunar nodes. Now the lunar nodes, it is said that they are also known as the nodes of fate, and it is said that our destiny is echoed between the north and the south lunar nodes, which I think is just such beautiful imagery. That sense of, even if you think of the echo of what is that myth of Echo and Psyche. Is it Echo and Psyche? Yes, Echo and Psyche. The myth of that sense of getting back to us what we are saying, what we are hearing. That's going to be very important here. I just feel that intertwined with our love, feel that intertwined with the essence of our emotions during this time. Now, the South Lunar Node brings us the energy of our past, and it brings us also the energy of our past lives, our history, our story, while the North Lunar Node is the present and what we need to accomplish, what we want within our lives. Now, Jupiter is in Pisces. We have that strong Pisces energy here in our public arena. This focuses on success. This brings us optimism and enthusiasm. There is an air here of being able to accomplish what seems impossible, what we thought I could never accomplish. We're also going to be very driven in our public arena to the 2nd of March, to the new moon in Pisces. That energy is going to be very important for us. There is a sense here that we're looking at a lot of what has fallen apart, at a lot of what didn't work out the way we had thought it would, and that's life, in and of itself. It doesn't always work out the way that we thought it would. And so here we're looking at the heartbreaks, the pains, the disappointments, the traumas, the dramas that we have been through. And we're also seeing us stepping into a new season, a new sense of self, a new sense of understanding. There is a change that comes forward. There is a sense of, okay, is this what I want? Or is this what I need? Or is this even where I'm heading? And there is also going to be this time where we can feel very emotional about certain things from the past. And that's also us kind of feeling our angels untangling a lot of the mess that we have made, untangling a lot of the things that have become very emotionally impactful or emotionally intense for us. And so we know at our root that a door is opening. Why? Because we're walking through the rubble of what has fallen apart, what isn't going to be anymore. It brings us to the death card. It brings us to the dying away of the old self, the rebirth of the new, the sense of the phoenix rising, the sense of, I'm not the person that I once was. And as we take that, I'm not the person that I once was, we know that God, source, spirit, however you see the divine, the universe, is handing us a gift of knowledge, of wisdom, of insight, of creativity, of focus, of, illumination, which is what the new moon is. It is that spotlight, that beacon, that torch within the darkness to be able to move forward towards. And as we embrace this, again, if we have Scorpio energy within our chart, this is going to be a little bit more impactful because we're going to see that we are really transforming, that there is a sense of I can't be, or I'm not who I once was. And that can be something where we're looking back at the past and we're thinking, oh, maybe I should be like this, or maybe I should be like that, or wow, I don't know why that didn't come true. And it's like, listen, on the path that I am on, even when we're walking through some of our darkest moments, we're walking towards something that is powerful and beautiful for us. Now, I'm not saying if we're walking through absolute hell, that is where divinity meant us to be. What I am saying is that sometimes there is no rhyme or reason to our world. Sometimes there is horror that is just simply horror. It is monstrous for the sake of being monstrous. And there are people who are corrupt and awful and evil, one might say. You could take it that far. But if we can look at the world around us, if we can look at, the air, not even look, but feel the air that we breathe and sit in the sun and sit in the moon and just be able to connect with our earth and with ourselves and start to find ourselves again, start to be present in our own bodies, in our own desires, that moves us very close to this place of stepping out of darkness. And it doesn't mean that it has to be anything traumatic that we have been through, but even if we just feel stuck within our lives or trapped within our lives, being present for ourselves and taking this torch and illuminating the darkness that we feel is going to help move us forward. I've been doing this meditation. Now, I'm probably going to butcher the name, and I do apologize for that, but it's called Mahasati. So it's Mahasati meditation. It's hand movement meditation. You sit with your eyes open, and I've been doing that to help heal my mind, right? Heal my head, but it also makes us be very present in the here and the now. And I found that just by doing that, I'll find when I want to put my earbuds in my ear or not engage with the world around me, I step back and I say, no, let me engage. Let me be present now, because I'm never going to get this exact moment again. And that is something that is really beautiful. That is something that I think our world needs to practice more and more and more. We're moving towards an emotional change, and it has us facing that energy, our sister energy, that can bring out the best or the absolute worst in us. So as we're embracing a new season, as we're seeing ourselves move forward, as we're seeing that we even feel that change within us, we can feel like we're on this roller coaster ride, or we can feel like, we're heading in this direction, but we don't know exactly what it is. We have to rein in our emotions, our subconscious and our conscious, to really look at what it is that we desire, to look at where it is that we're headed. We have the seam foam here. Venus in mythology was birthed from sea foam. Love was birthed from sea foam. We as human beings, the emotion of the heart, was birthed from the ocean, from the sea. And so as we're embracing that, as we're seeing that here and now, we're starting to see ourselves. And I know as Capricorns, we're ruled by Saturn. We are very, very, very practical people. We want things to have a practical sense. We believe, you work hard, you do what you need to do, you keep on moving forward, that will get you to where it is that you need to be. But sometimes also embracing the whimsy, embracing the beautiful, embracing the romantic, embracing the healing of the heart, that also gets us to where we need to be, because we can become so logical that we become out of touch with our emotions. And that for us, Capricorn, would be a very unpleasant thing. It would be a very hard thing for us to go through and go to within our lives, to be able to not, tune into our hearts. Our hearts are calling for us to be present within them. It moves us to the moon. This moon has an effect on our heart. And here we have dreams and intuition and shadow, dreams and intuition and shadow repeated around us like a mantra. We have the wolf howling at the moon, and we have just come out of, the wolf moon. And this is a time where our hearts are hungry, right? Our hearts are hungry for more understanding, more insight, more beauty. And the moon shows us our fears. Man is afraid of the wolf. It has been instilled in us through, nursery stories, through just our evolution as human beings. We're afraid of certain animals kind of on sight. You don't want to go up to a tiger and give it a big hug, type of thing. They're dangerous for a reason, and our mind recognizes that. Here we are also recognizing the fears that are around us. How do we tame those fears so that we're not afraid of the wolf, we're not afraid of the tiger? We look at the fears and we respect them, and we give them the space that they need, or we give them the honor that they need. But they don't get to pull us down into the shadows. They don't get to become the murky waters of the shadow being that follows us, that tries to destroy us. And it brings us, it's almost like that sense of, which wolf are you feeding? What are we feeding within our hearts, within our souls, within ourselves? How is it moving us forward? How is it not moving us forward? What is it that we desire? What is it that we're looking for? And it brings us to the Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords is highs and lows and conflict and tension. Highs, lows, conflict and tension. When you are in the positive, the fairy tale hero, you have to go through that conflict. You have to go through that development of character. At least now, if we look back at the old fairy tales, they had that conflict, right? If we look at the watered down Disney versions, they don't really have the same conflict that we are resolving within our own lives. But we have the tiger here. We have the being that stalks and hunts, that is, absolutely terrifying when it needs to be, and absolutely majestic and entrancing when it needs to be. This is what we're looking at within our lives as we are looking at our voice and our minds and how we are communicating to ourselves, what it is that we are communicating to ourselves, what it is that we desire, how it is that we are moving forward. There's a transformation coming here. And as we're embracing this, as we're seeing this, we're seeing ourselves. The sword is the only weapon within the tarot, and that's important to note, because when we embrace the Knight of Swords, we embrace holding true to what we want, to what we developed, to who it is that we are. But we are also embracing a nobility of spirit, a tenacity of self, that, they would say in olden times, in Victorian times, like, there's nothing worse than a evil lord, or, somebody with a lot of power that could just do what they want, and your life was meaningless compared to theirs. And that is the energy that we have to be very mindful of during this time, the energy of corruption, the energy of power that corrupts. So just be aware of this as we're moving forward. Stay true to what it is that is right for us, who it is that we are, what it is that we are moving towards. Now let's look at our lunar energy. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. All right, so let's see what the moon has to say for herself. At our root, we have the full moon. It says surrender to the divine. The full moon is very much pulling us towards the sense of power, towards the sense of surrendering, towards the sense of there is more here than meets the eye. The full moon is very powerful for us during this time. It brings us to a place of balance. It brings us to a place of insight and ideas and harmonizing or seeing or understanding. It moves us to our inner self, which is the North Lunar Node. It says step out of your comfort zone and do it with gratitude, because we are all moving forward in our lives. We are all moving forward in ourselves. Stepping out of our comfort zone can bring us to a place we've always loved to be, or we always kind of dreamt of being, or we might not even have ever known that this is going to be what excites us. This is going to be what moves us forward, what breaks the mold. It brings us to our lunar emotional self. And it is the new moon in Capricorn. Our own energy comes forward at our heart. It says your hard work is paying off. Focus. Focus on the awakening of the third eye, which is what this, singing bowl is tuned to, the third eye. Focus on the transformation. Focus on the insight. Focus on the beauty. Focus on the dreams. It moves us to our lunar public arena self. And it says bring love into the situation, the new moon in Aquarius. And it brings us to taking action. Because when we bring love into the situation, our hearts start taking action in a way that is just extraordinary. This is a time, Capricorn, when we just simply cannot ignore our hearts, what we desire, what we want, what we need, who we are, what it is that we're becoming, seeing, imagining, discovering within us. And it will be a very big shame for us if we do neglect that emotional, beautiful, complex side to us. It brings us to our subconscious lunar message, which is the new moon in Virgo, a time to give rather than receive. Well, time to give rather than take. And then it is self-love. So it's a time to give of self-love rather than taking the love of others. It is time to give that love to ourselves and finding that power. Sometimes that is a very hard thing to do. Sometimes we do not know we're in darkness until the world makes us awaken to it, makes us see it. It moves us to our subconscious energy to be mindful of, and it's the moon. Be mindful of this moon. It is intense, it is powerful, and if we aren't in the right headspace, it can lead us down a complex path. They can lead us to, setting boundaries before us that didn't need to be set, stopping us in a way that we didn't need to be stopped. So just be aware of this during this time. The moon is calling to us, but the moon is awakening us in a way that we might be afraid of seeing. So be aware of that. It moves us to our subconscious chakra energy, which is love. This is the heart chakra. What do I love? What do I desire? What do I need? How do I incorporate and embrace love within my life? It brings us to our subconscious rooted self, which is the lovers. It's all around love here. This is Gemini energy. This is a sense of falling in love with our lives, falling in love with who we are, seeing the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine of what we are becoming, discovering, and desiring within our own existence. This is moving towards our passion, not towards our lust, which is going to be something to be aware of during this time. We can think it's love when it's lust, so just be aware of this. Our subconscious inner self is the moon. Again, the moon calls to us. The moon has showed up now 3 times. What we fear, what we doubt, what we have been afraid of. Those fears, if we look at them, when we look at this card, we see the monster holding the girl. Is the monster protecting her, or is he cradling her to her doom? It depends on the eyes that are looking at it. And this is a time where we look at the monsters and we say, are you pulling me off my track? Are you, controlling my life? Or do you stand beside me, what I once feared, and make me stronger and better? Because I face that fear every day. I look at it and I say it does not rule me. It moves us to our subconscious emotional self, and that is the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands is being a student of our passion, of our desire, of what lights our hearts on fire. We're starting to connect with it again. We're afraid for some reason. We're afraid to fully let our heart shine and show. And that's understandable. It makes us vulnerable. But now we're looking at it and saying, let me break the mold. Let me break the barriers. Let me see me. We're going to be getting signs from divinity that, from spirit, the universe, however you say it, see it, that say, oh no, like this path, or you're on the right path. Look for them. No, don't look for them actively. Be like, okay, I need to decide this moment. But note that they will come into your life. Note that they will be things that are like, oh wow, I didn't realize that, or oh wow, I didn't look at that. Oh wow, I didn't see that. So just be aware. Our subconscious public arena self is the Ten of Cups. This is prosperity, joy, family, commitment, prosperity, joy, family, commitment. Contentment, not commitment, contentment. Being content, being able to show up for our hearts and ourselves. But it's also, what are we committed to loving? What loves us? What guides us? What leads us? What are the emotions that connect with us? The Ten of Cups is they all live happily ever after. Let us move towards that happily ever after. Let us move towards that beauty. Let us take in that beauty. All right. All right, Capricorn. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let us end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power, the intensity, the beauty, the complexity of this time, of this moon, but also of ourselves. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Capricorn, and may you have a blessed moon.